Waukesha County. I'd like to read our press release regarding an officer-involved shooting that took place this afternoon. Standing next to me is Under Sheriff Tom Hausner, who's from the Walworth County Sheriff's Department. His role is to conduct the state-required post-officer-involved shooting investigation. I'm sure you're all familiar with that process. So on Thursday, March 14th, today at 12:25 p.m., the Waukesha County Communications Center received a call regarding a 39-year-old male in the town of Eagle firing off rounds from a firearm outside of a residence. The Waukesha County Sheriff's deputies responded to the scene, where they located the male subject outside of his residence and was currently armed. 3 Waukesha County Sheriff's deputies were involved in an officer-involved shooting. One of the initial responding deputies felt that his life was in imminent danger and used deadly force on the armed individual. Life-saving measures were initiated by the officers on the scene. The years of service for the deputies involved range from 5 years to 25 years service. None of the deputies involved in the incident were injured. The male subject was pronounced deceased on the scene. There were no other injuries to anyone else. This was a lone actor. There is no further threat to the community. The Eagleville Elementary Charter School, a part of the Muckwonago School District, was briefly placed on lockdown during the incident, but has since been released. Assistance was received by the Village of Eagle Police Department, the Town of Muckwonago Police Department, the Jefferson County Sheriff's Department, the Department of Natural Resources, and the Kettle Moraine Fire District and Muckwonago Joint Fire Department. This incident is currently under the investigation by the Walworth County Sheriff's Office at the request of my office. All inquiries should be directed to the Walworth County Sheriff's Office as it relates to this investigation. I'd also like to add that this is a difficult reality of law enforcement. Our condolences go out to the family, and we are also concerned about the well-being of the deputies and officers as well who responded to the scene, as well as their families. You will have your own copy of the press release to take with you. I think we're making copies available, and so you'll have that to take with you before you leave today. I'll take a few questions with the understanding that in any situation like this, we have an ongoing investigation, and we need to be careful that we don't release information that might compromise our future investigative endeavors.
Sheriff, what can you tell us about the communication with that subject once the officers responded? How long did they have before the shots were fired, and what kind of de-escalation or communication was there with that person?
I don't have any information on that right now.
Do you know who does?
Well, we're conducting the investigation, and that we're not ready to release any of that at this point. So the actual circumstances of the shooting are currently being investigated by the Walworth County Sheriff's Office as part of the state-mandated use of force investigation. Realize again that this happened at 12:25, and some of that detail we haven't been able to assess at this point, and it's certainly not going to come to my level anytime soon.
Were the officers wearing body cams?
Were the officers wearing body cams? Officers from my office were not. I can't advise about Eagle.
Is there any history of law enforcement going to this particular house or with this particular individual?
I don't have that information at this time.
Do we know how many shots he fired during this incident?
I don't have a shot count at this time.
Do we know
Did he fire
the
shots?
proximity to the school, how far nearest residences were?
Pat, do you know about how far that school is? It's quite a ways.
A
Quarter mile.
Did he fire shots at the officers first? Or?
I don't have that information confirmed at this point, and that's a preliminary aspect of the criminal investigation that I'm not prepared to release.
We're hearing this could be like a mental health situation. How are your officers, if this was the case of mental health, how are your officers trained to respond to these types of incidents if he was going through a mental health crisis?
Well, the aspects of responding to police work and police instances are part of their ongoing training, their initial training through the recruit school, police academy. We have training where people are exposed to the difficulties and some strategies to deal with people with mental illness. That's throughout the entire law enforcement training and standards curriculum. So You know, they're trained to de-escalate, they're trained to recognize mental illness, they're also trained to recognize threats of deadly force and to respond appropriately.
What kind of weapon was used?
I'm not prepared to release that information at this point. I want to let the Walworth County Sheriff's Office conduct their investigation.
When do you
Do you know
expect to
if he-
release his name?
It's a great question. The medical examiner is going to be responsible for letting us know that the appropriate and sufficient family members have been notified. Once we get information from the medical examiner that appropriate notifications have been made to the family, that's when that information will be provided to the Walworth County Sheriff's Office, and it will be released at that time.
Sheriff, from what you know right now.
Hold on a second, I think there was another one here.
Do you know if he pointed the gun at the deputy?
The information that I have is that the deputy that was involved in the shooting responded to the scene. He reports that he felt that his life was in danger, and he responded appropriately.
How were they feeling after this incident?
The deputies? I'm not going to comment on that right now. Yes, sir?
From the information that you're aware of right now, from what you've gathered, are you content with how the deputies responded to this situation?
The preliminary information that I have, and again, we're here to tell you what we know and what we can, is to tell you that initial information is that the officer felt that his life was in danger and he responded as he was trained. I have no information at this time that contradicts that. However, that's why we have another agency come in and provide a detailed investigation to determine all of the facts that we can that are reasonable within an investigative process. So at this point in time, I'm here to tell you that there is no further threat to the community, that the officers that were at the scene and other individuals were unharmed. The officers took the action that I described, and we're going to do a detailed review through the efforts of the Walworth County Sheriff's Office to assist us and follow the law. The deputies will be placed on administrative leave temporarily while that investigation occurs. That's standard, normal practice.
I have a question. A lot of departments wear body cameras. Why don't your deputies wear them?
It's a financial issue. Any
Is
other
that something
questions?
you're looking forward to? Would you like to get body cameras?
I would like to get a lot of resources to do a lot of things, and we don't have body cameras right now.
Did the officers have cameras in their cars at least?
No, they don't.
Did any of those rounds hit any other structures, any other people,
That would be part of the ongoing investigation.
Maybe for Under Sheriff Hausner, any timeline? I know this is, every situation's unique, but is there a SOP on how long these investigations should take?
Should take.
There is no SOP. Every investigation is unique in itself. This is obviously a tragedy for everybody involved, and our hearts and prayers go out to those people involved, including the officers and their family, as well as Sheriff Severson and the Waukesha County Sheriff's Office. I don't have a time frame, and nor will I give a time frame.
Okay.
Were other people in the residence where this occurred at the time?
I don't know that. Please put into consideration that we've barely gone 3 hours here. And there's a lot of information that we need to collect, a lot of evidence that we need to preserve. I'm sorry. Please recognize that less than 4 hours have elapsed since this incident has taken place, and we don't have the ability to gather all of the data, all of the perspectives in that period of time. The typical law enforcement investigation, what we're asking Under Sheriff Hausner and his team to do is the same that we've been asked to do for other agencies. This is an important investigation. It requires a lot of interview time. We're not going to rely solely on individual witnesses when we have multiple witnesses, so we're going to try to identify all of the witnesses that can provide us with the most accurate assessment of what the circumstances were, what transpired, what the facts were. They are going to collect physical evidence. They're going to look at this as closely as they can, and the investigation will take the route that it takes. Some interviews may be prompted by the original interviews that they conducted at the scene. So for all of those reasons, the investigation is going to be fluid. They all are. I am very cautious when I talk about what we know, because I don't want to negatively impact the ability of the investigators to interview witnesses that haven't even been identified yet. So we're very careful not to contaminate the witness pool and to give the investigators an opportunity to talk to people without influence of what we may say here.
I haven't been to the scene yet, but how, is it still closed? How long do you expect that area to be closed off by police?
It's closed now, and it's not unusual for it to take several more hours.
Okay.
Who called 911?
I don't have that information. That would be at the dispatch center.
Where was the location?
It was on Lower Clarks Park Road in the town of Eagle.
Do you have like a cross street or
I do, but I don't have it in front of me.
How long has it been since the last off-resolved shooting involved the sheriff's department?
Can you help me?
No more than 3 to 4 years?
It's been a while.
Sir, did you give an age on this person, the deceased? I can't remember.
39-year-old male.
39-year-old man. Thank you.
We'll make sure everybody gets a copy of the news release so that you can do that. Matter of fact, my deputy inspector has it right now. So that's all we have for you today. I really appreciate everyone taking your time to come down and talk with us. Again, the Walworth County Sheriff's Office is going to be conducting the investigation, and they would be responsible for releases as the investigation progresses if they feel that that's appropriate. So thank you, everybody.
If I may.
Oh, yeah, sir.
If I could tell you, the next press or news release will not be done until we hear from the Waukesha County medical examiners, as we can release the information regarding the individual. But expect nothing before then, and I have no timeline on that.
Do you have all our email addresses, or?
We can get them from Sheriff, I'm sure.
Can you give us a
We've got
copy of your
a
last
blast,
name?
the same blast that went out for you now.
HAUSNER.
We'll definitely share that information. I'm sure that the Walworth County Sheriff's Office has a similar list, so. All right, very good. Thank you, everyone.
Thanks, sir.
Thank you so
Good
much.
guys.
Have a
We
good
went
one.
to the chair stairs. All right, hard copies?
Thank you
Yes,
so much.
please.
Please.
Thank you.
Table here.